Welcome to another Cup of Joe. I'm your host, Joe Tumalo, CEO of PG Partner, with my longtime friend, awesome guest, Wayne Olson. Thank you for coming back, Wayne.
Joe, thanks for having me. Good to see you.
My pleasure. Wayne, you are a longtime fundraiser,
Mhm.
consultant, fundraising consultant,
Yep.
speaker, excellent speaker,
Thank you.
and wrote a lot of books. How many books have you written?
6 books so far.
Wow, so far.
So far.
Still more to come.
I'm working on one on listening now and the power of listening and the
I'm
ability.
sorry, kidding. You know my humor by now. My dad humor. I couldn't resist. Sorry. On listening. That's great. You want to talk
As you
about listening?
as you can see, there's a great need for the book. So
Well, how about we talk about that? We were going to talk about something else, but
sure.
no, that's topic. So my reaction is, well, no, no, no kidding, Wayne. We listen. Of course we listen. Why do you have to write a book of that? You're telling me I don't know how to listen? Come on, we know how to listen. What are you talking about? Why would I need to read a book on listening?
Because we don't listen. We do not listen. We speak. We verbalize. We broadcast. We vlog. We blog, and we never listen. We don't listen to the other person. At least that's the real danger, Joe, is we think we're listening, but we're really not. Uh, as my friend Joe Tumalo wrote in his book, Go See People, uh, we listen to react and not respond. And
I said that?
it's,
Wow.
yeah, um,
Oh, I quoted somebody.
you quoted somebody, forgot who, you quoted Seven Habits of Stephen Covey. You quoted
Ah,
Stephen Covey in your book. Uh, but you hit it perfectly, and it was in a great context too, is that we listen to react, meaning it's about me, rather than respond, meaning it's about the person you're with.
hmm. One of my favorite sayings that former personal coach, sales coach years ago taught me, my job is to dominate the listening.
Also in your book.
Yes. So Bruce Morrow, I always like him because Bruce watches this. Bruce is awesome, longtime friend, coach. And yeah, I use it all the time. I use it with donors. Joe, I'm doing all the talking. Yeah, my job is to dominate the listening. And they like that. And sometimes people will laugh at that. Oh, that's funny. But no, that's my job is to listen. At least at first, right? To another thing I use is, and I do a lot in healthcare, as you know, and dealing with physicians or retired physicians for Klein Giving a lot. And I'll say, my job is to diagnose before I prescribe, right?
That's it.
I'm not going to throw charitable gift annuities at you if we haven't talked about what you're trying to accomplish for us and for you and for your family and what your needs are, right? Anyway,
Right.
going a little off track, but so as far as listening, like I like the rule of threes. Can you give us three key points, takeaways for how we can, even especially those of us that have been doing this a long time?
Sure. And again, we weren't going to talk about this, so I'm not completely prepared, but I like the challenge. But I'll give you three.
You'll do it.
And they might be a little bit unrefined, but they'll still work. And the first one is shut up. Just shut up. Don't say anything. Just listen. And silence is okay. If somebody's speaking, shut up. And as part of shut up, let the other person finish their sentence. I can't tell you how many times I'm annoyed when I'm speaking with somebody and I've got everything I want to say in my head that's lined up, and they interrupt me before I can get to the important thing I was going to say. Now, hopefully, I'm not long winded, but let the other person speak. Get out of the way. Shut up. Let people tell you what they want to tell you, and you will learn something about them and about what they want to do. And if you're there for a common purpose, you'll learn about that common purpose. So be quiet. The second thing I would encourage people to do is ask open-ended questions. When you ask questions that can be answered yes or no or with a number or something like that, you're not giving control of the conversation to the other person. You're retaining it, and you're just it's all focused on you. So ask open-ended questions and sit back and listen. And the third thing would be ask questions that begin with who, what, when, where, and why, and how. That is the key to finding out what your person you're with wants to accomplish. And they can be simple questions. What is it about the hospital that you like, Mrs. Jones? Why do you give to the hospital, Mrs. Jones? Too often we come into meetings with a plan for the other person. Well, this person should do this, this, and this, and I'm going to make sure it happens. And that's just not fair to the other person. And ultimately, it's not fair to us because we're presuming that we know more about the other person than they do.
Well, do you know Dan Shepard, Frontline Fundraiser?
I know the name, but I don't believe I've ever met him.
Yeah, and I definitely recommend everybody check out his website. I think it's if you Google Frontline Fundraiser, Dan Shepard. Well, he has and I adapted it to 6 questions, like you said. Why? Why are you so good to us? Why are you so loyal? What, uh, or excuse me, where in our mission impact organization is most important to you? What might be your concerns, your goals? What are you trying to accomplish through your philanthropy?
Yep.
Both for us as an organization and for you, your retirement, your family. And then, so why, what, where? And then the big point, especially in the planned giving space that he talks about, that a lot of gift offers skip is how. How do you want to make this gift? How do you want to have an impact? Is it a current gift, pledge, or non-cash gift, deferred gift, beneficiary gift? So he says a lot of people, gift officers, just go right to, so they'll do why, what, and where. They'll skip how and go right to the ask.
That's right.
So it's great. And look, anytime I say something that might be considered criticizing gift officers, this is tough work. And major gift work is super tough. I feel like with planned giving, we have more leeway because it takes longer. Mm-hmm. And there's not the expectation of, let's go, we've got to raise X amount of dollars right now. So it's tough. I couldn't be just like strictly major gift officer. So, and they're under so much pressure. So, but in a politely kind way, I want to say, please include the question, how.
Yeah, you should. And by the way, that's a different topic that we could spend hours on, but I believe that 95% of our fundraising brethren do major gifts poorly. And a lot of that is because of supervision that does exactly what you just said, demanding an answer right now. They come home with $5 when they should have come home with 50. And so much more would be gained by simply taking the time to build the relationship and understanding the other person.
Let's talk about that in the next CupOJoe.
Yeah, sure.
We talked a little bit before we started, just personal stuff, and we talked about meditation. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I just really started doing it faithfully, strictly, it sounds too strong, but consistently this year in January. And I just do there's so many apps. My favorite is called Waking Up. And and I have 4 or 5 of them. I've tried 4 or 5. It's my favorite because he's actually teaching you. It's one guy, one process, and he's teaching you. Starts with a 30-day course, but it keeps going. You're building the skill sets, not just while you're meditating, and it's only 10 minutes, which I love. But the big key is to take that with you the rest of the day, right? To be present, to block out and learn how to block out everything else going on. Like you and I are talking right now. I'm not thinking about the fact that there's nothing in the refrigerator for lunch and how am I going to get my lunch in? I am now, but just to your point of really being focused, and present and connected and feeling the energy between people. So highly recommend that for listening skills is meditating. And again, there's plenty of apps. Waking Up is a great one, 10 minutes a day. Any thoughts on that?
No, I just, I'm a Christian, and the Bible teaches us to put the other person first. And that's what I try to practice is your needs above mine.
You do. And I'm not just saying that to be nice. You do that.
I try. I'm not saying I do, but I try.
Yeah, you do. Every time we have a conversation.
And that turns some people off. You could appear weak or soft. But I think we live in a hurting world. And, you think somebody's got $10 million and, well, they've got the world at their fingertips and they can do whatever they want. But I'm amazed at how many people I have met of great wealth with you'd think they'd have this great social network, but they're in pain and no one listens to them. Everybody talks at them, tells them what to do, tells them what to do with their money. No one ever listens. And when you come into a situation where you put the other person first and you listen to them, that's just a gift to them. I mean, fundraisers think that it's a one-way thing where we go and get money and bring it back. And the reality is it's a two-way street. And the donor expects as much or more in return for their money than we give them. I've always said that in fundraising, we can only give the donor one thing, and that's a good feeling. If I'm selling you tires, well, you're parting with $1,000, but you're getting 4 new tires. Let's hope they're good tires. Well, if you give me $1,000 for the library, you don't get anything in return. There's nothing on your shelf. There's nothing in your living room. There's nothing in your garage for that $1,000 other than maybe a thank you letter. That's the only physical, tangible thing you get. Hopefully you get a thank you letter. But what we can give people is something that's in desperate need in the world today, and that's a good feeling. And you can only give them that good feeling by knowing what kind of feeling is good to them. And you've got to listen to accomplish that. And you have to put their needs above ours. It's so simple, but people forget that. And I think part of my job in life is to remind people of the simplistic beauty of just listening to the other person.
Beautiful. Thank you. This was great. How can people get in touch with you, Wayne? And how can you help people?
Very easy. You can reach me at wayneolson.com. And my name is Olson, but even if you misspell it, you still go to the right website. So that's cool. But you can contact me at wayneolson.com. My books are on Amazon, but if you go on my website, wayneolson.com, if you want to buy one of my books, enter the code FRIEND because you're a friend of Joe's, and you'll get a discount.
Awesome. And you like speaking all over the country?
I do. I'm very fortunate that I get invited to lead retreats and board development and fundraising presentations, actually some for-profit corporations too, on donor relations, customer relations. I love doing it. Love if anybody wants to talk about me speaking, I'm always open to the idea.
Wonderful. And real quick, I'm wearing this crazy jacket because Wayne, a couple of months ago, in a nice, nurturing, very nice way, said, you loosen up a little bit. When I was rebranding my company, loosen up a little bit. You don't have to, tie. You're not that kind of, right? You're not that kind of formal tie guy. Just relax. So this is my Kentucky Derby sport coat.
You wear it well.
Thank you.
You wear
Thank
it well.
you, as always.
And you're always relaxed, and your attire now matches your attitude. So fantastic. Good.
Thank you. All the best. Thanks.
Thank you, Joe.